Welcome to the Cup of Joe Show, where we explore the journey of recovery from alcohol and drug addiction. One story, one conversation, and one step at a time. I'm your host, Joe, creating a safe space for honest discussions about the challenges and triumphs of addiction and alcoholism. In each episode, we'll hear inspiring stories that uncover tools that make healing possible. Sobriety is not a one-size-fits-all journey, and you don't have to face it alone. Recovery is possible, and it's worth it. Thank you for joining the Cup of Joe Show. Now let's get started. Welcome back to the Cup of Joe Show. I'm your host, of course, Joe. And I just want you to know, if you're struggling right now, reach out for help. Please don't suffer in silence. Today's guest is my friend Ty H. And he's from, and again, I'm going to get this wrong, Cadiz, Ohio.
That's it.
He's a father.
Ohio.
I got it. Ty says I got it right, so I'm good. But he's a father, a creator, a man whose life has completely changed since getting sober in May of 2023. After losing relationships, trying to rebuild his life, and figuring out who he was without drugs and alcohol, Ty found a purpose in an unexpected place: podcasting. What started as a hobby during early recovery turned into a passion for storytelling, production, and helping people connect through honest conversations. I'm really looking forward to learning more about Ty, so grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let's get into it. How you doing today, Ty?
Pretty good, Joe. How you been, buddy?
Not too shabby, man. Not too shabby. Thanks for asking. So, just to get into it, what was it like growing up, Ty?
Growing up with me, I had two wonderful parents. Still do have two wonderful parents. I have a brother. He's 2.5 years younger than me. He has a wife and 3 kids. And I got one daughter. And I've been engaged twice, never married, and single. And so, yeah, basically, I get to, when I get to see my daughter, we get to hang out all the time. We go to the park, watch movies, go outside, ride bikes, all fun stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's got to be something. She's what, would you say 4 years old?
4, yeah. 4
Man, that's
going on 18.
Yeah, that's when they still like you, Ty. Wait till
I know.
Wait till she gets to be 17. I always say when my daughter stopped believing in Santa Claus, she stopped believing in me. So
yeah, I can see that. I can
hopefully
see
that doesn't happen to you, brother.
Who knows in my life, but no, it's been a pretty wild ride. Actually. All right, I'm on. What did we say you were on? I'm just seeing where your levels are here.
Yeah.
I'll just do this. All right, just if you want to just start talking, I can.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
All right, go for it.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3.
There you are.
1 2 3. You got me. Testing 1 2 3.
And I can edit that part out. But so growing up me, I had 2 amazing parents. I got a brother. I went on a tangent there for a second, but
that's okay.
I had both my grandparents, used to go to their places all the time. My dad's family lived in Flushing, Ohio on a farm. They had like milk cows and stuff at one point. Still did have a little bit. But it was really cool over there. They grew a garden, all that. Get to go out and play and, go cow tipping and all that fun stuff. And then on my dad's on that side still, we had fun, growing up, just out there playing on the hay bales and fun stuff. And then on the flip side, my mom's side of the family, like I told you, my grandpa created his own company. He had fun. We had fun all the time with them. Vacations, going down to Florida, Christmas time over there with them. Just going out to eat. They came to every function they could. Football, wrestling, anything like that. We were a very tight knit group. I had a few cousins on both sides. We just had fun. There was, if you look at my life in the beginning, you would think like, why would he even end up where he ended up? I get asked a lot of questions like that too.
Yeah. What was like, do you remember like what were your earliest attitudes toward like alcohol or drugs or anything like was it normalized like drinking in your household or around you?
My parents never really did a lot of drinking. If it was for anything, it was for like if people came over to hang out or whatever. That was, um my dad, you never really saw him with a beer, or my mom. I loved watching movies and romanticizing over movies, and college movies, them drinking all the time. That's where I got the idea of, oh, this could be fun. This could be a lot of fun. And I struggled with, at the time, I didn't know, but depression and anxiety and ADHD and dyslexia. So I had a hard time getting through school. I made it through, obviously, but it wasn't easy for me. But that was a lot of like, I had, like, the pity parties were stupid with me because I was always like too short. Didn't get good grades, wasn't smart enough, couldn't figure anything out, stuff like that. And I that's where my whole began, right there, is self-confidence issues.
We have that in common. It's and I know people. Well, a lot of people have heard them say it in recovery. Is that I felt alone in a group of people.
Mhm.
And I did. And I had, looking back, I had the anxiety and I had a lot of self-esteem issues. I always, I didn't never felt good enough.
Yeah.
And so I certainly I can relate to that kind of stuff. Do you, do you remember the first time you felt the effects of alcohol or drugs?
Yeah. I believe me and my friends, we live in the boonies, the hillbilly town, but we would, go maybe sixth grade, maybe seventh grade, summer of that time. We would go camping and take one of maybe his parents' finest alcohol we could find and go throw it in a groundhog hole or something that day, and then that night return to it and go drink. And I could just remember like a euphoric feeling coming over me. Like it started at my toes and just, or it started at my head and ended up at my toes. It was just like, I love this feeling. It made me feel good. I was out of my shell. My dad was a big, bullshitter. So he had all the friends and, had that going for him. And I wanted that, but I felt like I had to drink to get there. Cause I would be the life of, not the life of the party, but, I would be fun to be around. And every time I drink, that person would come out.
It was like a comfort thing. That's
Mm-hmm.
it was. I remember. I felt more like me. I didn't even know who I was, but I I remember like I felt like, oh yeah, this is the person. This is who I want to be. And
Exactly. Yeah.
um, so I guess looking back, do you think there were warning signs that you were kind of setting yourself up for addiction?
Yeah. I think there were, because I couldn't take anything moderately. I always had to go for, excessive amounts. And I couldn't just drink one beer. I had to drink a couple of them, to get, at least get that. If I didn't want to get drunk, I could get that euphoric feeling, just like that slow high, you know what I mean? But like not get belligerently drunk. So I would try doing all those ways. And it really wasn't until like high school, like I was a wrestler too. I played sports, so I I would have to be good. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't drink so many months out of the year for wrestling season, and then when that quit, we would go and have fun. So that was all the way through high school. But high school, we were doing more drinking than, it was almost like a every weekend thing at the time. We didn't think of it as a problem. There's nothing really else to do in our town. So we would just go out and party, and that led to drinking. And the drugs, really, marijuana, didn't come into the picture until like my junior year, probably sophomore, junior year of high school. It wasn't a whole lot either. It was basically just like we went on a high ride. That was it. They dropped me back off. I didn't touch it again for like a long time.
Now, did you mean a hayride, or did you call it a high ride, Ty?
Yeah, a high ride.
Is that on purpose? Was that on purpose?
No, that was what we call them around here for a long time. High ride, going to high ride.
That is funny. That is great. Yeah.
Yeah, we had names for everything.
Yeah. No, I wrestled too in high school. So
okay.
I remember, we would be good during wrestling season generally, I was cutting weight and doing that kind of stuff. And so you really couldn't partake too much and didn't want to,
No. I always lost weight too. So I know how it felt. You felt very sluggish. You didn't really want to do anything. So that probably helped both of us from being belligerent, addicts through high school, because it was after high school it was my last match. I don't know. I think I tried to make it the districts or something, didn't make it. And then that was it. So I was like, what do I do now? Didn't have any plans to go to college or anything. And every summer I ended up at my uncle's asphalt company, during the summertime, just running heavy machinery. So that was all I knew. So that was my plan, was to work work full time there. But I got kind of talked into going to college. It was like something I never really wanted to do. But, when your best friend asks you to go to college, you're going to go, you said, heck yeah. We didn't go too far away. It was a community college. I did pretty well there the first year. And then every weekend I was going up to Kent State to party. So it was a 2-year college. I was going in for teaching. And that was I think that was my plan at the time, was do 2 years there, then transfer to Kent State. But go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, how'd that work out for you?
Well, didn't work out very well, because I ended up, the second year I was there, I ended up going and taking a test, and I would get like really like high anxiety. I just didn't know what it was called back then. And a friend noticed I was freaking out, and he gave me it was called a mood relaxer, but it was a Vicodin. And I didn't know I never been around that my whole life. My parents never messed with any of that stuff. So that was what, I just took it. I was like, well, what could hurt? And I was off to the races. Once that little pill hit my gut and you feel it go, like it's 10 times better than alcohol. I knew I was hooked. Like, it didn't last it'll last maybe like a half hour. You just get that warm blanket feeling that comes over you, like all your worries and troubles are gone, no matter what trouble you're in. And after that first day of taking it, I remember the next morning I was searching again. At that time, I didn't care how I was going to get it. I was going to ask anybody I could find. So that's when I went to college the next day and just started asking people, hey, you know where I can find Vicodin? And finally this person said, yeah, I have some. And I was like, I don't need some, I need a lot. Like, I'll pay you. And we had this little system worked out for a while. And I was taking, 1 to 10 here and there. And then from, 10 to 20 and, 20 to 30 pills, then I was doing it twice a day. But I didn't think I was addicted yet. I thought I was just having fun. It wasn't until I went to Kent State University is when it got a little crazy. I joined the frat. We were partying, drinking. I was learning more about painkillers like there's Vicodin, Percocet, Oxycontin. All those were up there. So I lasted about 6 months, and the grades. We did. You'll think this is pretty good. One night we were trying. Me and my buddy were. I knew I was failing, but I knew if I changed my I think we changed my classes around to where I wasn't going to fail. So we spent all night like changing all these classes around I was failing, and I was taking like ice skating and basket weaving just to pull my GPA up. It was just ridiculous, and it worked. It bought me another semester there, and that I knew that was going to be my last one. So that's when the craziness got turned up a little bit more. And then I came back home and just told my parents, "Hey, I'm done. I'm coming back home." And they're like, "Well, what's your next plan?" I said, "I don't know, maybe West Lib with my brother," because he was just graduating, going down there for a wrestling scholarship. So I headed down there. We were down there for about 2 years. I was still doing the same things. But if you want to back it up to Kent, that's when I got caught. I actually, my parents drug tested me. And there was things coming up on that thing that I didn't know I even took. I mean, like everything was popping up on that thing. So my mom was a nurse for 12 years. And my dad's a strict no drugs in my house. You can drink, but that's no drugs. It was bad. It was a bad day. I believe I got slapped pretty darn hard. It was just the devastation on my mom's face when it would have been fine if like maybe Vicodin came up or opiates and weed, then we could have had a talk. But when everything shows up, then we have a problem. So that's when rehab was addressed, and I denied that. I didn't want to go when I should have gone.
Yeah.
So I stayed there until I got sober, and then I went back up to finish. And that's just when I was like, yeah, I'm done. There's nothing left to do up here. So transferred down to West Lib with my brother.
Well, I was just thinking, like, so your parents kind of must have seen like behavior changes or something caused them to, I mean, it had to be noticeable for them to be,
Yeah, I was sleeping a lot. I was sleeping every day. Like, it was getting to the point where my brother would be coming in. He'd be like, "Listen, dude, I don't know what you're doing, but you're sleeping an awful lot and it's causing attention in the house. So, get something figured out here." But I didn't. That wasn't the wake up call.
Yeah. No, listen, you're not alone in that, man. I had to tell you, because you were talking about your community college days. You're looking at a guy that spent 6 years in community college, 7 majors, 1.6 GPA.
Awesome. No,
this is so bad, man. I literally at one point changed my major to theater. I had taken a theater class as an elective just to survive.
And you're like, yeah. That's exactly what I did, just to survive. That is so cool. I don't think I've ever met anybody that went to a 2-year college and got 7 years out of it.
Yeah, I did. My mom kept saying, you could be a doctor. You could be a doctor. And I'm like, no, I couldn't. Yeah. I can't even get out of community college.
No, I couldn't either. Like, I spent probably 7 years at college total, and I came home with nothing. I mean, even West Liberty, like we went up there. I did well in teaching, but that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to go at the, promote bands and get into movies and do all that fun stuff. I wanted it out there somehow, but it just didn't work out. My brother was dating this girl that he knew. She was a family friend, and they were expecting their first child that time. So I was just like, hey, if you're going home, I'm going home too, and we'll just get jobs. So that's what we did. We just went back home. Both got jobs at the same place we've been working at every summer. This time it was just full time, and my drug addiction came with it. So, but I was making a lot of money now, you know. So now it's like I had money to buy anything I wanted drug wise. So that's what would happen. I would just go to work and work for drugs and go home and do them, and just, you know, everybody else just leave me alone. I was like a hobbit at one time.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. So you were isolating pretty
Hmm.
bad at this point, right?
Yeah. Yeah, if I had people come over, like, it'd be okay, but, like, I wasn't gonna go search for fun. You know, I was already having my fun. You know, if you
Yeah.
wanted to come over, you can come over, but, like, I was just gonna throw on a movie or pass out or something, whatever came first.
Yeah. And it reminds me of like, we basically get into these self-imposed
Mhm.
prisons, you know?
Yeah, we
I mean,
do.
it's like, it's literally, we think we're living and
Yeah.
we're literally not doing anything,
Oh,
other than I wasn't, I would, of course, my drug of choice it was alcohol and cocaine,
okay.
and yeah, I was a little before the pills kind of became,
Oh, wow,
uh,
okay.
I got, I think I got really lucky because
Yeah, you did.
I don't know if I would have survived that. I really don't, man.
No, if I would have went that direction and started doing like well, if I started doing cocaine, I would take cocaine once in a while, but it wasn't my favorite. But you know, fentanyl with cocaine, you know, that you're lucky you quit when you did.
no, there's no doubt about it. Um, well, so do you have any legal issues or health issues? Did you anything
No.
noticeable at this point?
No, I was always pretty careful when I was drugging. I would, you know, I'd be at home or something. And the only thing I'd worry about was having possession of drugs in my car. You know, if I passed like a statey or a cop, then I'd freak out. But I never gotten any trouble with it by the law. Or did I have like any like people in, I don't want anybody thinking I'm glorifying this, but like people were starting to be impressed of how many pills I could take, and it really wasn't to be impressed of. It was almost like, how am I doing this and not overdosing? This is wild. Like, nobody should be taking this amount twice a day.
Yeah.
But
It's
that's what
funny.
I was
It's
doing.
What do we say? Like we like to convince ourselves we're building tolerance and
Yes.
we're doing this, and it really we're just digging a deeper hole. We just don't
Yeah, that's
realize,
that's all we're doing is
you
digging a
know.
deeper hole, and we don't even notice it until it's too late.
Yeah.
Um, I I know like it's almost getting harder and harder to remember the full story, but I do know that when I came back home from West Liberty, I got that job back from Lash Paving. Um, I worked there for, I believe, 2 more years, and I left, and I ended up having some sobriety underneath of me, and I went to above ground mining is what I did. So I worked there for 6 months until they closed, the plant, you know, the mine down. But I was sober for, like, I believe the first 3 months there, I believe, or maybe it was 3 months I was there. I wasn't there very long, but I knew that I was sober, so this was, like, pretty cool. I like this. Until the night I went there, and somebody had a Vicodin and, you know, was kinda handing them out, and I was like, "Oh, well, sure, I'll take it." So,
Yeah.
back on the train again.
Yeah.
But, um, back if we go back up until Kent State, I did end up, uh, finding a friend up there that was, I don't wanna give her name, but lived down around where my area is. I knew her a little bit. She knew a pretty well-known drug, dealer around my area I didn't know of. I wanted to, you know, meet him, and she didn't want me to, either because it wasn't a good idea, or you take too much, like, you know, you'll never survive. But I do believe I talked her into going down there. She introduced me to him. well, didn't want to. She went in first, talked to him, and then told me to stay in the car, but I went in anyways. I wanted to meet him. So it was the scariest thing I've ever done in my life, but I ended up going in there, meeting him, and we became really good friends. And I call him all the time to get stuff. So the girl that was the person that was I was getting from in Wintersville stopped. I went from her to this other guy because he can get more stuff and it was cheaper. So me and him became buddies. I was going to him all the time. He actually just passed away not too long ago from overdose, about 2 or 3 years ago. So, RIP him. I don't want to give his name, but he was actually a really good dude, really smart. Just caught in the wrong thing. But from there, I was working at Oxford, so I was still getting my stuff, like towards the end of Oxford, because now I'm back on it again. So that shuts down, and then I move up to Yerkesville, Ohio, and get a job up there towards that way. And I was sober for this time a little bit, going into work and coming back home. I had a house up there. First time I moved out, and I just got around the wrong people again. I can find them somehow. And I found out who the dealer was up there, and I got in with him, and it was off to the races. So it was getting really, really bad. You can tell the years are adding up. I've been in this addiction phase for a while now. By 2018, like I kind of want to quit. I just don't know how. So I do some research. And have you ever heard of the stuff called kratom?
I have heard of it, but I don't know a lot about it, and probably I'd say people in the audience probably don't. So would you kind of explain what it is?
Yeah. Kratom is a herbal supplement you can get at gas stations, head shops. It's green. They come in pills too, forms. It's highly addictive if you take it enough of it, and they don't tell you that until it's too late. But I thought this was the alternative. I thought this is what everybody's doing. So 2018, I switched from pills to that, and that was like awful. It was worse coming off of that than it was opiates, I think. But everybody tells you it's okay, it's fine, you won't get addicted to it. It's cheaper actually than buying drugs off the streets, and it's to that point where there wasn't a whole lot of kratom around here in 2018, 19, but now it's like it's everywhere.
Yeah.
So you have heard of it?
Yeah, I have heard. Actually, I know of some people who are struggling with it, and
Okay.
and I know in Tennessee, which is where I'm at, I think they're looking to legislate it out because
Yeah.
it's so easy to get. It kind of reminds me to a degree, and I know it's different, but of when OxyContin kind of
Yeah.
took off. Hey, this is the miracle drug. Look, it's not. It's gonna help people. And it was all
Mhm.
BS. It was all BS.
It was.
And I think the same thing is happening with the kratom, is that
It
people are
is.
realizing there's no way this stuff should be this available,
No.
easy access, and and people are getting addicted to it, like you said. So I
Yeah.
know people personally who are struggling with it, as we speak, and so yeah,
That's awful.
well, it's like anything, Ty. It's when the drug dealer didn't quit selling when I quit. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
The liquor stores didn't close when I got sober. And the truth is, we find what we're looking for.
Oh, yeah.
We
Yeah.
find what we're looking for. It was when you said, God, man, when you said you moved, and then I found the drug dealer like a miracle again. I'm like,
Yep.
I know I did that shit, and I
Yeah,
was like,
exactly.
wherever I went, I mean, I had I was really kind of very similar. I had a very close friend growing up who, had a brother who was a
Mhm.
big drug dealer, and that's kind of how all that started for me. And but I got here, and life took a downturn and got divorced, and the first thing I started looking
Yeah.
for was, where can I find that? I know that will make me feel better. I know that will change the way I feel. And anyway.
No, you're absolutely right. That's how we look at it. We look at it as like, either we want an excuse to take it, like find, or maybe get in a fight with somebody, so you get into a really bad mood and then go get it. You know what I mean? Or it's it just changes you. It just changes you into the person you don't want to be, and it's hard to get out of that. It really is. It's and that in Cranham, I have friends that are fighting it right now, that are trying to get it, illegal. And they're doing a good job. They got a few states coming on board wanting to fight it. So hopefully, I mean, I don't think people understand how dangerous it is. It really is sickening how many people know about it and are taking it.
Yeah.
Just rehabs, when talking about like taking it but measuring it out, so they take just enough of it, for a remedy or backaches or whatever.
Right.
I couldn't do that. I couldn't be trusted with that.
No.
I'd be done.
Yeah, I'm the same way, man. You can't measure what? I'll measure it all. That's what I'll do.
Just give me the bag and I'll measure it and just put it in my mouth.
So what changed? What changed? I know you're talking about you were wanting to get sober, and was there a point where you took action to get sober?
Yes. You cut out a little bit there, but I think I do. So you're wanting to know, like, how did it come to be where I got sober? Like, what was the action part?
Yeah, like what was the turning point? Like how did that come about?
Okay, well, I was stuck on Kratom for another 4 years, I believe, and trying to get off of that too. And I met a girl 7 years ago, and we were talking about getting married and having a family and all that. And I was still using, but I was trying to. I thought nobody knew, and maybe they didn't, but I was always like playing the victim, and that would make so many people mad. It's like, I always thought, like, about it, but you're being nice about it. Why are you being nice? You know what I mean? So I was always making people mad about that. And it got to the point where we were doing, the fighting, we weren't fighting no more. I was starting to calm down from the kratom a little bit. And we planned a vacation down to Florida to get married. And something, I forget what happened, but the plans, not everybody could come. I think her kids couldn't come, and we couldn't have that. So we were like, all right, well, let's just go down there. It's already planned. We'll go. So we go down there, and I just fall back into it. Just, because I knew where to get it from going down there before. And every day we would go up, get some, come back. And that was our vacation. She had fun, she says, but I don't believe her. But we came back home. I was on night shift at work, and she calls me, and she says, hey, what she never calls. She says, hey, I'm pregnant. And I was like, oh, that's amazing, but I'm still using. And she wasn't like surprised, but she was like, we need to figure this out. So I called my mom. Being in the nursing field for all those years, she had contacts. So we tried I took time off work, I believe, and I went to a 7-day detox close to my home. And I got out of that, and within like 7 days, I relapsed again. So I knew it wasn't going to be easy. Like I'm too far gone for a 7-day stint.
Yeah.
So that's when we turned things up a notch. And I went into work and turned myself in and said, hey, I'm addict. I need help. And they said, okay, we'll give you the time off. Just go get help. So I went to Tennessee that time, down to Cornerstone, and that was a pretty nice place.
Cornerstone alumni here.
Oh, are you? Oh, no way.
2 tours of duty. Thank you, Cornerstone.
No way.
Absolutely.
I got 1 tour, but it would have been 3.
We did. Yeah, I mean, and I learned a lot. I did learn. And Cornerstone, you're right. At that time, it was a really good facility.
I mean, all this stuff right here.
Oh, wow.
Half of it's like Cornerstone. This is like 3 rehabs worth of work right here. So it was. I tell you what, like, rehab is all about what you make out of it. Sure. It could be fun, it could be scary, it could be boring. But like you said, it's I did three tours myself. Cornerstone. And I know for a fact that when you have to come back to Cornerstone, it's even harder.
Yeah.
Because you guys, they take it easy on us freshmen, but when you guys come back, like, tell me how much different was it your second stay?
Oh yeah. Now see, the first time I had gone, I'd went to outpatient, and I did the IOP, intense outpatient, and I really went there to save my job. I had gotten caught, and I thought, I didn't do anything that they suggested. I got out, I went to some meetings, and I thought, I got this.
Yeah, I know we all do.
Don't you know who I think I am? And
exactly.
I caught a resentment from the mother of my child, and really, and no, it was not her fault. It's my fault, by the way. But anyway, caught this resentment, went, and I was off to the races.
Being able to admit that. That's hard to do.
Yeah, for sure, man. I listen. At this point, I take responsibility for my life.
Me too.
And
at least I tried to.
Things. Yeah, it's one of the gifts.
Yeah, it wasn't all my ex's fault. Like, we had good times together, and when we met, it wasn't the I don't even know how to explain this. It wasn't the best way to meet. You know what I mean? Like, she, I messaged her on Facebook, and she was still married, and everybody knows the story around here, and we started talking, and one thing led to another, and we started dating, and it just that right there, well, because I've never done that before. I've never, that'll get your blood pumping a little bit,
sure,
throughout all that. So that was taking a toll on my mental health. I'm like, I love this girl, I love her kids, but how we did this was completely wrong. And now we got to suffer from this. So it just didn't, through, and then I would use, because I would always get like anxiety and stuff, and depression would come, and it just wasn't a very good situation to be put in, either of us. I can't say it was all her, it was me too. And, but we did get our daughter out of it, Hayden, which is a, she's my best friend.
Yeah.
So, but like you said, like, you can admit when you did what's wrong. Like, I was completely wrong doing that, but I can't take it back. I can't.
Yeah. No, we do get a chance at some point, I think, to make amends if we can. Sometimes it's a living amends. Sometimes we can make amends with people. It just takes time. You never know you never know what's going to happen. And I'm grateful for the relationship and the co-parenting we do today. It certainly is not how it started.
Right.
But I have to tell you, I have to get back to rehab and Cornerstone. And I have to say this, that I really think, because then I had gone back after 6 years. I'd gone out for 6 years, and then went back again, life falling apart, and went inpatient this time, and didn't have to do the relapse and recovery, which I know that's what you did. I went just the third, but I really think, you can get a running start going to rehab.
You
You
can.
really can. They can give you a good running start. I came out of there feeling good. And, I always say, I got voted most likely to stay sober.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
I didn't. I'm just joking, Ty. No,
You
they
did.
don't vote. They don't
I'm
vote
so
in there. They
damn
don't do that.
gullible.
Yeah, Ty's like,
It's
that's really
awful.
good, man. I didn't
That's
know they
good,
gave
dude.
awards. No, they
Let's
don't.
give a clap.
But again, 2 weeks later, man, I'm in jail with a DUI.
Oh
Because
my.
I didn't follow the suggestions. I didn't
Mm.
follow through. But anyway, so yeah, I think rehab certainly can play an important role in recovery. It can separate us from drugs and alcohol. Well, once we get out,
Yeah.
and you're out of that bubble, if you don't have a plan and you don't take action and you don't follow the suggestions, that your chances are slim.
Very
Your
slim.
chances are slim. So
Yeah,
anyway,
good luck of, you're right though. They are very slim. That's how I see it too. I mean, I didn't take the traditional route of getting sober. I I went to Cornerstone for 30 days. I did detox and residence there. Then I went to Cornerstone. Where did I go? I know I went down to ORAC down in Columbus. Yeah, I went down to ORAC in Columbus. I did the detox and the residential stay down there too. That didn't work out. So I didn't really have many options after 3. Like I just didn't know what to do. I wasn't really getting into AA that much. I didn't really have any aftercare plan because we didn't have any places around here to do it. But they did find me one that was, they came to you. It was called Aware Recovery. So I did that for a full year, got a chip, did the sober thing. And I do believe after that chip, I do believe something happened, or maybe before that, where I was in it again. And this time it was either rehab or I had no option. So I got on Suboxone, went to a Suboxone clinic, and been doing that for 2 years now. And it's between that and the podcast and stuff really helps out. But I don't suggest anybody doing it my way because this is a hard lifestyle to do without AA meetings.
right.
I suggest people use AA. I don't have an excuse not to go to AA. They at Brightview Health, where I go to get my Suboxone, they claim, they allow me to not go to AA meetings because I do the podcast. But if I was doing nothing, they'd require AA meetings. But I do want to start getting back into them.
And it's a cool thing, man. I always say this, there's so many different ways to recover. There is not one way. What worked for me may not work for you. 12-step recovery for me has been a lifesaver,
Right.
But that doesn't mean that that's for everybody. And,
right.
But if you don't have anywhere else to go, I think I would suggest find a 12-step meeting, whether it's NA or AA, or now there's DAA, which is kind of cool. That's kind of growing. And they actually use, I just learned this. Actually, I had somebody on the podcast who has been really big on starting, really involved in DAA meetings and kind of helping to grow it.
What's that stand for?
Drug Addicts Anonymous.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep. So
I'm about to check that out.
Yeah. So it's, and they actually use, if I remember right, and I'm not an expert, but I think they use a big book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 steps from Alcoholics Anonymous with permission from the AA World Services to do that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so it's
Wow.
there's different 12 steps. I encourage
Celebrate
people to,
recovery. Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
I
it's
tried
just
that out. It's
different
not bad.
ways.
Mm-hmm.
No, sober. There's celebrate recoveries. There's, you know, I think that the helpful thing, and I think that's where the podcast has come in. Maybe for you, I don't want to speak for you, Ty, when I say this,
No,
but
no.
it's a way of, we need community. I
We
think
do.
it's we don't we need to know we're not doing this alone.
Right.
And I think, at least for me,
Me
I
too.
think that it's a big part of it. So good for you. So you're doing the podcast, and let's talk about your podcast. Can we talk about that a little
Yeah,
bit?
yeah. So you know, as you know, when we get out of rehab, they always tell us to get a hobby or something, or find, you know, AA meetings, whatever you got to do. So I enjoyed watching podcasts like Joe Rogan and all them, and comedy ones. So I was like, well, how hard could this be? And I spent like 6 months of my life trying to figure out how to do this. And once I dialed it in, I started, me and a buddy of mine started a long-term podcast, which was like 3 or 4 years ago. It lasted maybe a year, maybe less. He was going back to college, and I wanted to do more. Um, After that, I wanted to keep going since I had all my gear. I had a buddy reach out when I got my book published. He wanted to, he wanted to talk and see what, you know, I was up to. So I said I kind of want to do another podcast. So we started Life After the Party. These are all recovery podcasts, and we got monetized. We were doing pretty good, and it was just getting to be a lot of work between both of us. So I kind of just started fading out a little bit. You know, we shut down that podcast. We were fading out, and I get a phone call from these people from what they're going to kill me. Listen to this thing, Humble Heartbeat. They are going to kill me. Publishing. They're out of, well, they were out of Florida. Now they're out of Katy, Texas. They're two ladies that own this publishing book company. They wanted to create a podcast. So they called me up. They noticed I had a book out and it really wasn't picking up any steam. So they wanted to redo it. So I said, well, you guys can do that, and I'll start a podcast with you. So we started that podcast. We're on season 2 now, halfway through season 2. And now what I do is, instead of like doing like start my own podcast, because I've done it twice, I had more fun in production. So like I love doing other podcasts. I love doing podcasts. I wouldn't mind doing one if somebody had an idea, because I just like tinkering in the background. But I just right now it my it's not really a company, but it's Second Chance Podcast Studios. So if anybody wants to start a podcast that don't have the equipment, I got it. If you're started a podcast but don't want to edit it and you know, need somebody to produce it, I can do all that. So I'm looking for clients. I got 3 right now. I'm looking for a few more.
And we'll put a link to your information
I
and all that.
appreciate that.
What was your book called, Ty?
Surviving Addiction One Day at a Time was my book.
Okay.
I don't know if it's still out there, Joe, because I didn't re-up on my contract, because I'm going with these other people.
Yeah.
Humble Heartbeat, they're going to redo it, but I'll keep everybody informed on how that's going.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a lot of information that I didn't put in my book, or maybe I was too afraid to at the time. And my head's a lot more clearer now. So there's a lot of stuff I want to put into it that I didn't get to put into it. But I wrote the book like 6 months after, like I started writing it 6 months after I was sober. You know what I mean? So I didn't have much, like my clarity was there, but I wish I would have waited a little bit, like a year, and did the book and just did the podcast, but did the book later on down the road. But no, it was fun.
Still cool that you did it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, like I wanted originally it to be for my daughter to read one day, so she can just read it and be like, oh, so this is who my dad is. But you know, it's it's kind of like my life's kind of like this. I would love to do podcasting full time. I would love to have my own production, all this and that. My grandpa started his own company back in the day, and I don't like riding on people's coattails. So, if my parents have money, that's their money. You know what I mean? I don't want that.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to blaze my own path here, and it's not easy. But I still every day I'll wake up and check my email, see if anybody needs a producer, editor, anything like that.
Yeah.
So I'm just continually getting out there. Just, I never thought this would be my thing. I didn't want to do it in the beginning. I was trying to push my buddy to do it. I didn't want to edit. I was like, heck with this stuff. This is hard. And he didn't want to do it. So I was like, well, I guess I'm going to have to do it. So I just took to YouTube, learned everything I could, bought the equipment. And now I got three podcasts underneath my belt now, and looking for more. So even with your podcast, I just want to tell your audience how cool you are. So this dude right here, he has no clue who I am. And I literally just texted him like today and said, hey man, like I got this crazy studio I have, and I have all these cameras. Can we use those? And I'll edit your stuff. And he was like, you didn't want to, I could tell you didn't want to say yes because you felt like it was a burden. But I was like, no, dude, like I want to do this. I do for free. Like this will be fun for me. So I want to put something together for you because you're doing so much cool stuff for, I love when people talk about recovery and that, you're doing a really good thing here. And
thank you, man.
I really hope you can get this thing going. And any way I can help, I will. I'm always down to help people out with this stuff. I love podcasting.
Yeah.
So you're from Tennessee.
I am. Yeah. In Knoxville, Tennessee. And it is kind of cool. I probably should tell people that one of the cool things, because you did, Ty, you said, man, let's do it now. This actually will be the first podcast probably that we release that it'll be audio and video.
Yeah.
And that's because of Ty. That's not because of Joe, because Joe is
this is because Joe's really cool. Joe and me have been talking. He's willing to get me on here to tell my story, to get me out there, so maybe I can get more people to help out. And you just seem like a really good dude. And I really want to put something together that when people do see this, it's like, oh wow, this is pretty cool, know. And if you like it, we can keep on doing it.
It's been a blessing. And
you're doing good.
One of the things we talked about was, a lot of, and people in recovery, I'm pretty open about my recovery, but what I've found is one, to respect people's anonymity. And I like to do it just audio. I think people,
and I respect that.
More people to do that. But, that does not to say that there aren't opportunities to do video like we're doing as well. So, so I will say, let me say this. And I've seen pictures, Ty has sent me, he's been kind enough to send me information on his studio and what it looks like. And he's like BA. And if you are looking to start a podcast, or if you've ever thought about doing this, man, get in touch with him. And
I appreciate that.
I promise you, he will do right by you, and he will get you off the ground. He really will. So I think it's pretty cool what you're doing, man. It's really cool.
It's like this. I remember back whenever I was starting out and I needed somebody to help me out. There's nowhere to go. You can go on Fiverr, or hopefully your neighbor's good at it. And in Fiverr, you have to pay for everything. So I always thought, like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to charge less than everybody, and I'm going to do it the right way. Because not everybody is monetized or is making a lot of money off this, but who's to say they don't deserve a really cool intro or outro, or thumbnail or something, to get them going.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just kind of how I feel. Like if people want to get me on their podcast, then I mean, I'll do I will edit our episode and I'll give it to you and I'll do it for free.
Wow. That's pretty cool. And Ty's, well, you've got a great story too, man. And it's and I love that you've taken a different path, because I think it's important for people to hear that message too. That,
Yeah.
like I said, there's not one way to recover. Um, People from all walks of life
Yes.
have been through it and have found a way out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about some of the good things. I know
Yeah.
we've talked about the podcasting, but let's talk about some other stuff that's happened to you since you've been sober. And
Well, I've got more time with my daughter. So that's key number one right there. That was my number one mission, was to get more time with my daughter. And I did. And, I wasn't there for the first like 2 years of her life. I was doing a lot of recovery and in and out of rehab and just trying to, and when I was home, I wanted to be with her, but when you're in that position, it's like, when is the right time to do it, to go full in father mode. So I pretty much did it like right after rehab. I went and grabbed my daughter after my stay at rehab. I talked them into letting me leave like an hour early. And I spent like the whole weekend with her, and it was awesome. And I just the opportunities that come your way when you're sober is enough to want you to stay sober. Job opportunities, friends you'll meet, even like, I did go, I would go to AA meetings. Like if somebody asked me to go, I'll go. I'm not opposed to them, but the people you meet in there could be your lifelong friends. And you just find a way. If people tell you like, I'm not going to get sober because I don't know how am I going to have fun? You'll have fun. Trust me. There's ways to having fun sober.
yeah, and I think really it's more fun. I mean, I think,
Yeah, I do too.
it's so funny. It's like I used to think like, man, I can't do. How am I going to go to a game? How am I going to do this? It's like, why did I think that? It's like my whole entire life revolved around drinking and drugs, like
Yeah.
everything, every ounce of my being. And I love that you mentioned your daughter. Kind of cool. My daughter, I guess my second tour of duty.
Right.
She was two.
Okay.
2.5, little over two, and I was a mess. And
I'm sure.
I'm so grateful her mother was willing to bring her to see me, and
Good.
those types of things it was a big deal.
You need that.
She was really, even as big of a jackass as I was to her many times,
Aren't we all?
she was always good with me and Ella, and helping. Has helped in that relationship. But
That's good.
now she's 17. My daughter is 17
my
years
gosh.
old. It's like,
How is that going?
it's wonderful. She's you said it. I mean, she's my best friend. She's my favorite person in the world.
That's right.
And she is becoming everything that I want to be when I grow up.
Good.
And that's a
Yes.
credit to her mom.
Mhm.
And of course, she's got wonderful people around her. And we have
That's
a
all
really
you can
great
do.
relationship. And, shout out to Eleanor Dale. Anyway,
That's awesome. No,
yeah. So, it's cool. It's like, you're reminding me of like, that's where I was
Yeah.
there, I was
Mhm.
there, and we do recover, and we do heal, and we do build relationships, and things get better. And
Yeah.
we just gotta hang in there, just hang in there. And
Exactly. And the people who hang on to the past, you can't. When people ask me like, how do you do it? Like, do you remember the past, or do you just try to focus on the future? And I say, well, I don't. I never forget where I came from.
Yeah.
Like I remember the bad days and the good days, but I don't. I don't focus completely on the past, because the future is
Yeah.
where you got to get to.
Yeah.
If I had, I don't know, if somebody made me feel the wrong way back in the day, you just got to move on. You got to move on past it.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand when people hung out in the past all the time that would bring it up. Like, you remember this? You remember when we did? Like, I remember all that, but
Yeah.
let's try to make new, memories.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at now. Like, I want to be able to make new memories with my daughter and just watch her grow.
Yeah. That's
She's a,
awesome, man. I mean,
she's a spitting image of me. I mean, it's scary. That's scary as shit because she's like the class clown. I can always tell she's a class clown. She has an amazing sense of humor. She's funny. It's hard to make me laugh, but she can make me laugh like not even trying.
yeah.
Like she's got it. Like she's got the humor part down at
Yeah.
4. So I'm excited to see what happens.
It's awesome, man. I know that relationship will continue to grow and get better, and it's just cool. It really is. It's a
I
blessing.
can't wait.
So what would you say to somebody who may be listening who thinks that they're beyond help or beyond hope?
Well, I'm kind of glad you asked that because I thought I was that person at one time. I thought I was the person that was beyond hope. And if you think that you are so far gone that nothing's going to save you, I don't believe that because I was that same person too. Like I didn't think I was going to make it. There was many times where I would just cry in the shower because I didn't know how to break out of that chain. But there'll come a time where when you're ready to do it, you'll do it. And like I can do it for my daughter, I can do it for my family, but you got to do it for you too. So it's there's got to come a time where you're tired of waking up feeling like crap. You're tired of giving everybody the same old damn excuse. You're always worried about passing a drug test at work. All that can go away. If you need rehab, then I think people should give it a chance. I didn't want to. I always thought rehab was like a prison, but you'll meet some amazing people in there, and the food sucks. But other than that, I mean, it's worth the stint. And if it doesn't work out the first time, like me and Joe, then there's always a second time or the 10th time. Doesn't matter. Like you were just saying, everybody's recovery is different. You just have to, first of all, you have to tell yourself, I'm ready to get sober.
I had an old friend who used to say, he said, everybody's bottom is different. He said, for some people, it's a dent in a Mercedes. And for other people, it takes living under a bridge. He said, but most of us are somewhere in between.
Exactly.
So it's really, really true.
Yeah. That's me. I had to get hit in the head a couple of times to figure it out, but it's doable. The people who don't think they can do it, just come talk to me.
Yeah.
I know what it's like, and I can hopefully steer you in the right path.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, is there anything you wanted to talk about that we haven't?
I don't think so. I think we got through everything. No, just if, sobriety will look good on you. It will. If you're worried about what people are going to think, or, you can't go to the bar. I've heard all of those excuses. You can go to the bar, you can have a water, when you're ready for that. I don't suggest doing that for a while after a couple years, but you will start feeling like, this is a new you. This is a better you. And you'll wake up every day feeling amazing. And well, I don't wake up every day feeling amazing. I got backaches and it's not, I'm old, but like spiritually, you'll feel better and mentally.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like life still happens, but for the longest time, the only solution I had to anything was drinking or drugs.
Yeah,
that was my solution. And now what I know and what that is, it's a temporary solution to a long-term problem.
Exactly.
I have this hole in my soul that can't be filled, with that kind of
Yep.
stuff. It can be filled with all the positive stuff, family, friends,
Hmm.
um, doing good for others, being of
Yeah, doing
service,
good
that
for
kind of stuff.
others. Even
Yeah.
that goes a long way. Just when you get out of rehab, just start doing good for others. You really should. People really should go to AA, or whatever you want to do. It's you can watch podcasts, but it's not the same. Like, you need to get in there with the group of people and really talk. That's where the magic happens.
Yeah, it does for sure. Well, man, thank you so much for your willingness to share your story, man, and your
No problem,
honesty.
man.
And it's honestly, it's been a lot of fun. But I can't let you go, man, without doing our rapid fire questions.
Let's go.
I know you've been looking forward to this.
Oh yeah, I got this.
All
You'll
right,
you'll never
man.
know. I don't have a filter, so this might be good or bad.
It's okay. This let it fly. Let it
Let it
fly.
fly. I can do that.
All right. What is your favorite recovery slogan?
Favorite recovery slogan. I'm gonna have to say it's one that's been used, but one day at a time. Like, I got it on my hand right there. I like that, one day at a time, because I think we all get into that rush. Don't think, just go. Just I don't think anybody anymore just sits down and just thinks about the day they're in today. Like, I would always, like, right now, like, it's 8 o'clock right now, and I would always tell my sponsor, like, "Hey, today was a great day. I can't wait for tomorrow. You guys, it's not tomorrow yet. It's still 8 o'clock." You know, like,
Yeah.
don't worry about tomorrow until it gets here,
Yeah.
and that will help
Stay in,
you stay in today. Yep.
yeah, stay in today. I didn't realize. I was wondering what that was on your hand. I was going to ask you. I should have asked you, but that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, I got a couple tattoos and recovery stuff on my tats.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What is your least favorite recovery slogan?
Give me a couple of them. I can't remember all of them.
Let's see. Meeting makers make it. That's one of the ones that's my least favorite, by the way.
I think that would be mine too, actually. It's like, I'll call my sponsor once in a while. Like, back whenever I need to start calling him more. He's a good dude. But he would always, like, his answers were always like slogans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, every question I'd ask him, he'd answer it with a slogan. I'm like, I am sick and tired of these slogans. Just tell me an actual answer. And he wanted me to figure it out. And when you put in that position, you have to.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, we don't have all the answers, man. That's where we help each other. So what do you think? Right. What do you think is your sobriety superpower?
My sobriety superpower. I like how you asked that, because us people in recovery, we're a very unique people. That's what I was told. We were very unique. And if somebody were to start a job, like a car dealership job, that's what he would pick somebody that's in recovery, because that guy will work harder than anybody else. So my superpower, probably, I would think, would be my worth ethic. I think that would have to be it, with, like, podcasting, figuring out, like, what goes where. My attention's a lot better. Even though I did just lose my job not too long ago, but it's whatever. It was a long time coming, I think, and it was because I want to be truthful on here, like how you are, and I don't want to, like, I don't want people watching this be like, oh, well, he didn't tell him that he got fired, but it was a long time coming. They got me in recovery. Then when I came back, things started getting a little weird. I was getting write-ups when I never used to, and it just what happens. But I'm ready to move on to my next phase of my life. I don't dwell on it. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. So that would be my superpower, I think, is to not dwell on things. always keep moving forward, have a positive mind, and just always work. I'm always trying to figure out a different angle, just something, you know. We're very resilient people, I think.
100%. I think we are. And here's the cool thing, man. You get fired and you didn't drink or drug.
No, I didn't. No.
You know,
I still stayed sober. Yes. It was
pretty
hard. It
cool.
was really hard.
Sure.
But yeah, it wasn't I've never been fired. I'm not saying I'm the best worker in the world, but I've never been fired from a job. And it was, but you know, though, when I got home, I could breathe then, you know what I mean? Because I felt like they were always on top of me, always watching me, even when you shouldn't be. And when I got home, I was just like, oh, the next job I go to, I can breathe, you know, like I could just start over.
Yeah.
But I think we're a resilient group, us addicts. And when you get recovery, when you find recovery, it's when it really shines.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think we definitely have that resilience in common for sure. So if you could say one thing to your former self, what would it be?
Former self. I would say, you're still ugly. No. No, I would say, that's a hard question. Take it easy. Just, you're always rushing things. You're always rushing into things. Just take it easy and let things come to you instead of chasing it.
Yeah. What song do you play to lift your spirits when you need a boost?
Oh, I'm a metalhead. Oof. Oh, I like Metallica. Anything Metallica. I love them, man. Anything like I can listen to anything, but like my favorites like hard metal, like rock and roll metal. Headbanging stuff.
That's cool. That's cool. If you could grant yourself one wish to help with your recovery, what would it be?
One wish to help with recovery. Ooh, that's a good one. Where are you getting these at? Oh. Say that one more time.
If you could grant yourself one wish to help with your recovery, what would it be?
I would love to be off my Suboxone today. That's the one thing I want to put on people too. Since I went to a Suboxone clinic, you can be on it for as long as you want to, but I highly suggest 1 to 2 years. Get to a good spot. Get somewhere where they can give you a counselor or a therapist and get off of it, because you don't want to be on it forever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would love to snap my fingers and be off of it tomorrow, but I'm on 10 milligrams right now and I got to get down to 0. I started at 25. So,
yeah, it's a process. Trust the process. Trust the process. All right, man. What step do you love the most?
Ooh, I think step 1 is the most crucial, but the hardest. And if people can do step 1, I oblige them. Because that's hard to admit something you don't want to admit. And when you say it, you make it real, and then it makes it real. So yeah, I like it when people can admit, when they're ready to admit. That's the first stage of their journey.
Yeah, 100%.
I
always say, like, if it wasn't for the first step, I wouldn't be here.
Exactly.
It's where we get. My buddy John says we get beaten to a state of reasonableness.
Isn't that the truth? We get beat and beat and beat. That's exactly the truth.
What step do you love the least?
I wouldn't say I don't like. I like it the least, but it was the hardest for me to do. Is to accept there's a God. I had a hard time with that. and still do sometimes, honestly. I'm not going to tell people I wake up with the Bible, go to bed with the Bible. I don't, but um, I do. I would love a better relationship with God and be able to understand Him more. But for the people that do have the higher power, like, and it is God, then I applaud them. That's amazing. I want to get there. I still don't think I'm there, but I want to get there.
Again, it's a process. Things are a process.
Mm-hmm.
What is one of your favorite movies?
Oh, all right. I'm a comedy guy, but I do love Quentin Tarantino too. A comedy, I would probably have to go with Happy Gilmore. That would
That's a
yeah.
great movie.
I love Happy Gilmore, man. Adam Sandler, he just gets me.
Great movie. Great movie.
Yeah.
And finally, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
It'd be cool if I arrived there and he'd go, "My man, what's up?" And just gave me a handshake and hugged me and said, "Get in there. I've been waiting on you."
That's awesome, man. Ty, thank you so much for taking the time, man.
Hey, thank you so much for having me on here, dude. Seriously,
Brother,
this was fun. It won't be the last one. I will say that. We'll have to get together again.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And for the rest of you out there, if this episode meant something to you, please share it with one person who needs some hope today. A new episode of the Cup of Joe Show drops every Thursday at noon. You can listen anytime at thecupofjoeshow.net or on any of your favorite podcast apps, Podbean, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and more. Just search for The Cup of Joe Show. Don't forget the "the." And if you're looking for your daily encouragement in your recovery journey, subscribe to our friends at thedailyponderables.com, delivering inspiration to your mailbox, your inbox every morning. Please like, follow, subscribe, and share because someone out there needs to hear this today. Have a good day, everybody.
Don't forget to share, people. Share.
Don't forget to share, man. Thank you. Have a great day.
It's just a laid-back vibe, baby.
We hope you enjoyed today's Experience, Strength, and Hope. We are so grateful you decided to join us. Please share this episode with someone who might need it. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. Remember, no matter where you are in your recovery journey, you are not alone. Reach up and reach out to someone. Please do not suffer in silence. Until next time, let's take it 1 minute, 1 hour, and 1 day at a time. Thanks for listening to The Cup of Joe Show.